Hello, everyone. Today, I'm sharing with you what basic knowledge do you need to learn for online store design? This is a question that often causes anxiety for many people when they're actually preparing to design their own store. Because if you search for related content, you'll find some people tell you to learn Photoshop, some tell you to learn color matching, some tell you to study design trends, some even directly suggest taking a course. After learning all that, you're even more confused about where to start. But let's be realistic. Online store design is never a design discipline, but rather a set of basic business expression principles. Below, I won't start by discussing learning design, but rather by breaking down the fundamental knowledge that is truly useful for store design and must be mastered. First, the conclusion. More knowledge doesn't necessarily mean better design. Many people start off on the wrong foot. They think, as long as they learn more design skills, their store design will naturally become professional. But the reality is, most store designs don't turn out well, not because they don't know design, but because they haven't mastered what to learn and what not to learn. The fundamental knowledge required for online store design has a clear priority. Second, the first type of fundamental knowledge, user perspective, not design perspective. This is the most fundamental of all. You must first understand one thing. Users aren't there to admire the page, but to quickly decide whether to continue browsing. Therefore, what you need to learn is not art, but user behavior logic, including where do users look first when entering the store? Will they scroll down? At what point do they start hesitating? If you don't understand user browsing habits, even the most beautiful page may go completely unseen. Understanding users is more important than understanding design. Third, the second type of fundamental knowledge, information structure and module logic. Many design problems are not essentially unattractive, but rather a chaotic information structure. Therefore, what you need to master is what modules should a store be divided into? What function does each module perform? Which information should be placed first, and which should be placed last? This belongs to information organization ability, not design ability. Once you understand the module logic, even with the most basic template, the page will be clear and organized. The essence of interior design is information ordering. The third type of basic knowledge, visual hierarchy, not visual style. The most common pitfall for beginners is starting by studying styles, trends, and design aesthetics. But the truly useful visual foundation for interior design is where should be large, where should be small, where should be emphasized, where should be minimized. This is called visual hierarchy. If all content on a page is similarly sized, similarly colored, similarly important, then the user won't know what the focus is. Visual hierarchy determines whether the content is understandable. The fourth type of basic knowledge, basic copywriting skills. Many people underestimate the role of copywriting in interior design. In fact, half of the problems in interior design stem from unclear copywriting. You don't need to learn marketing rhetoric, but you should at least learn to explain what you're selling in one sentence. Clearly state your advantages in one sentence. Reduce user hesitation in one sentence. If the copy itself is vague, convoluted, or abstract, even the best design will only amplify the unclear aspects. Good design must be easy to understand. Fifth category of basic knowledge, platform rules and tool usage. Online store design is not about creating freely on a blank canvas. You must understand the boundaries the platform gives you, such as which modules are fixed by the system, which locations can be adjusted, which places are unsuitable for piling up information. You also need to be familiar with official templates, module components, basic design tools. It's not about making it flashy, but about avoiding pitfalls, rework, and wasted effort. Knowing how to use tools is fundamental to efficiency. 7. Sixth category of basic knowledge, stage judgment ability, very crucial. This is something many people are completely unaware of. Different stages require different design knowledge. For example, in the beginner stage, a clear structure is more important. In the growth stage, a stable style is more important. In the mature stage, systematic management is more important. If you are a beginner but start learning a brand visual system, it will likely only increase internal friction. What you learn depends on your current stage. Fate. Why is it not recommended to systematically learn design from the beginning? It's not that design isn't important, but the order is crucial. If you haven't yet successfully implemented your business or validated your product, investing a lot of time in learning design software and design theory will likely result in learning a lot, but not being able to apply it, and hindering core business operations. A more realistic path is first learn the basics that directly improve page performance. Once design becomes a high-frequency requirement, then systematically upgrade your skills. This is the lowest cost and lowest risk approach. Practical advice for beginners to online store design. If you ask now, where should I start learning? I'll give you a very practical order. Learn the user perspective first. Learn module structure. Learn visual hierarchy. Learn basic copywriting. Finally, familiarize yourself with the tools. This order applies to almost everyone who wants to design their own online store. In short, what you need to learn in online store design isn't how advanced the design is, but rather how to make it easier for users to understand, follow smoothly, and comprehend. Once you master these fundamentals, store design will naturally transform from a torture into a controllable and optimizable task.